So in this video, we're going to be talking about the main differences between Russian women and Western women. This is based on my personal observations of dating and knowing Western women, and also already being together with my Russian girlfriend for over 5 years. Давайте начнем. So the first difference that I noticed is that Russian women in general tend to take better care of themselves. And what I mean by that is not like wearing specific clothing, makeup, or skincare. It's more about them having the mindset of better understanding what their impression is that they give off to other people and in society. And I think this is a good thing because in general, you can only have a first impression once, and your impression, even though it's quite superficial, it still is something that other people judge you on. So you might as well use it basically instead of not caring about it at all. And with this, I don't mean to say that all Russian women that they spend hours before, going to the grocery store, because that's a stereotype. That's not true. But that in general, they just seem to, take like a couple of minutes just before going out, check themselves, check their outfit, check how they look in the mirror, and then maybe make some little tweaks and changes in order to make sure that their impression is the best impression that they can give. So the second thing that I noticed is that Russian women tend to be better at solving unexpected external problems. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean that if an unexpected problem comes up, like they're better able to, or a situation that they don't enjoy, they're better able to handle that situation in a calm and rational way. And this is probably because life in Russia tends to be less predictable than life in the Western countries. And like an example of this, for example, with my girlfriend is now, with the COVID thing going on, the government is putting all sorts of regulations, and many people in Holland, they're like complaining, not knowing what to do, going crazy about it. And my girlfriend's like, well, okay, so the government is, saying that you can do one specific thing and not do other things. Oh, well, I mean, it happens. People continue living anyway. Just might as well make the best of it. And this is something that I really appreciate in her, because it's also something that I need to learn sometimes. So the third thing that I really appreciate in Russian women is that they tend to radiate more of a feminine energy. And it's very difficult to exactly put this in words what it is that they do, but it's something about their behavior, their mindset, the way they present themselves to the world that just makes it like a specific feminine energy that I as a guy am drawn to, and many other guys as well. And I'm all for equal wages and equal opportunities for men and women, but I think there's something to be said for like a specific type of masculine energy and feminine energy, some type of yin yang, that they tend to be a little bit different, and in that way they complete each other. So the fourth thing that I really appreciate in Russian women is that they simply have a desire to celebrate things more. And this is great because, for example, I'm not the type of guy to really celebrate a lot of stuff. I'm not the greatest fan of my own birthdays, so I have like a big party. And on my other YouTube channel, a while ago I had 100,000 subscribers, and usually I would be say, okay, that's cool, maybe have a couple of beers with friends or do something like that. But she's like, no, we need to go to a restaurant, and, have like to really celebrate it so that we'll have more of it. And this is a very Russian thing. And I think it's great too, if you want to отмечать, to celebrate something, that you really take the time to just calm down, to just sit still, and to really think about the good things that are happening, so that you can see that they may happen more often. And I find this sometimes to be a little bit lacking in the Western cultures, that we're all about saving, working, and not always stopping to just take the time to appreciate something. And if you check about, for example, all the Russian праздники, all the Russian holidays, you have the День защитника Отечества. It's like Guys' Day, Guys' Day in general. And there's also Women's Day, the 8th of March, like 8 Marta, where all the guys, they buy flowers for all the women in their lives. I really like that they have this thing, that this need to celebrate good stuff. The fifth thing that I really appreciate is that Russian women tend to like to cook. And I like to eat, so that's a good match. No, but for example, when I've been in Russia for New Year's Eve, I always noticed like this: everyone gets up in the morning, and all the girls, like the generations, like grandma, then mom, and then the daughter, they just all get together to make these super tasty salads, like salat оливье, селедка под шубой, and then all the guys, they go outside and make meat and drink vodka. But it's just so nice to see like all the women being together and cooking something very tasty, and then everyone else really enjoying what they made. And like last weekend, for example, my girlfriend, like she woke up on Saturday morning and was like, okay, I want to make sirniki this morning, which is a type of pancake. And then later on, she spent the entire day in the kitchen making all sorts of stuff, and it was very tasty. And I just noticed that if you compare it to Western women, that not all of them really like to cook. Of course, there are many exceptions to this, but I just find that Russian women in general tend to have more of a thing to really cook well and to make sure that it's tasty for everyone. So the sixth thing that I noticed is that Russian women just tend to dress better. And there's a stereotype that they always wear these heels and everything, but this stereotype is going away. You can see them as well, often wearing sneakers just regularly. But it just seems like it goes back to those previous points that they have a little bit more of feminine energy, plus they tend to be more aware of their impression that they give in the world, which means that they also take more care of themselves in the type of clothes that they wear to better show how they look like. And you can compare this like from a woman's perspective. Like I'm a guy, so I could be wearing like some baggy stuff, everything like some hoodie and everything, sweatpants here. But I got like a nice shirt. I could also be wearing a suit, but that's probably too much. And women also appreciate that if a guy takes care of them in that way. So of course, everyone can decide for themselves what they want to wear, but there are just specific types of things to wear for each gender that makes them just look a little bit more, give off a better impression. The seventh thing that I appreciate is that Russian women, they just handle their alcohol a little bit better. And what I mean by that is if you would go to clubs in Moscow and compare them to like clubs in Germany or Holland or UK, that there's just less drama from drunken girls. And there's also, drama from guys is also happening everywhere, of course. But it feels like Russian women have a better thing of knowing where their limits are and not going over that. And that they're also, like in general, if you compare Russian drinking to like drinking in Holland, then it feels like many in Russia, people are just, if they drink, that they're just the way they are when they're sober, except for a little bit more outgoing. And if you, for example, take Dutch people, when we start drinking, suddenly the world becomes interactive and we start doing all sorts of stuff that we really otherwise would not do if we would be sober. The eighth thing that I appreciate is that Russian women tend to have more of a present-giving mentality. And this is great. Like every single time girlfriends of my girlfriend came here for to chill in Holland for like a weekend, they always brought very nice presents. And the same thing is if, for example, if I go to Russia, then my girlfriend's mom also always gets very good presents that I always very much enjoy. And this is completely different to what I'm used to in Holland, where we don't really have this present giving thing. I mean, some people do it, but in general, I don't really feel it, or at least not in my family. And that after, I really appreciated my girlfriend. Like if we go somewhere on visit, that she always tries to bring something nice, to really think about the other person and then give something. And we also have something similar, like like in our relationship, we also have these things where we get a lot of presents for each other, like especially on the Russian holidays, like День защитника Отечества, the 23rd of February, and the 8th of March, like Women's Day. And this is just a very nice addition to, it's just nice to get presents, but it's also nice to give presents to people and see how they're happy with it. And I really appreciate that Russian women have this thing of giving presents. So the ninth thing that I appreciate in Russian women is that they tend to be more family oriented. And this can of course be taken too far. For example, if there is a woman in Russia who is 30 and she doesn't have a boyfriend, and she's focused on her career, and even though if everything is going very well, then people might still be thinking that there's something wrong with her because she doesn't have anyone. And in Russia, it's very common that girls want to be married and have kids already before 25. And here in Holland, for example, there are many women that focus actually on, first getting their career handled, maybe being able to buy a house, and then only after 30 start thinking about kids. And there's something to be said for both approaches, but in the end, I think that the way they care about family is a good thing. So the 10th thing that I appreciate in Russian women is that they tend to have higher expectations of the man in their life. And I think this is a good thing because as men, we can be quite lazy, basically. And if there is someone very close to us who kind of pushes us to be like a better version of ourselves and to not just go for the easy way, but also take the harder way to, do the things that we need to do, then that is very important. And I really appreciate my girlfriend for that, because she tries to take the best out, to get the best out of me. And that's something that I need at times. And the last thing, the 11th thing that I really appreciate in Russian women is that they really value a clean home. And this can be taken too far, of course. But I mean, there's so much weird things going on like around in our lives, so much, especially now during these times, that it's just nice if you come home and at home everything is just clean, everything is on their place. And of course, this does not need to be taken too far, with like wiping all the surfaces with antibacterial stuff. But it's just nice if you come home and there's a nice home waiting for you. And Russian women very much have this, and that's something I really much appreciate. Спасибо большое за просмотр. I hope you learned something in this video. And if you want to learn Russian for a special woman in your life, then check out the link in the description to my 30-day conversational Russian challenge, which will help you to speak Russian in 30 days. Пока-пока.